All
All
right.
right.
Hey,
Thought I was leading it.
here we go. Rock and roll, hip hop, country music, and opera. Brian Patrick White here, representing and with not only coercion, yet voluntary coercion, and in collaboration with Coaching Now, collaboration with Matt Wolf. Matt, introduce yourself and where are you at, dude? I mean, look, I know we've got background. Check out the origin story of Matt and myself on the channel here. And technically, this is our second coaching crew video. Matt, you take it away. You go. You go. You go, boy.
All right. Hello. You can go check out that last video. Keep it non-redundant. Matt over here. I'm in Long Beach, California. My grandfather found that driftwood. I haven't oiled it down yet. So, uh, yeah, Brian and I actually, from our last video, wanted to have a continuation of a couple of things we wanted to do. And just to throw it out there right in the beginning, we started off this week saying we're going to make this call happen today. And today comes and we both didn't want to do it. So we talked about that and I talked about how I wanted to talk about responsibility and vulnerability and willingness a little more. So what better time to do that when I'm not vulnerable, responsible, or willing? And, we also agreed we're not editing this. So we're just going to go right through it and it's going to be what it is. So that's excellent. A little nerve-wracking. A little bit in my head, don't need to be. So here we are. Grateful to be here. Got some things to cover. Good stuff.
We do. We do have some things to cover. And as I kicked off this broadcast, this recording, this episode, this show, I go into funny man. Got to be the funny man. And sometimes funny man is authentic, and sometimes funny man is, like a mask to put on, right? And it's like, so this is the straight up. Matt and I were talking about this earlier before the call about like how much do we reveal? How much do we share about our personal life and what's going on? Is our our thought processes and what we think and such. So being authentic and
Which is great because if we're doing that, if we're trying to share something that might hurt us or whatever, or be vulnerable about, like, am I really looking to grow and have something come out of that? Or like I'm empowered or I see it in a new light? Or am I really in the background trying to be a victim and like get like support for that story? Like, yeah, it is really hard and poor me or whatever might be there. Because again, the things that disempower us can really be flipped right on its ass, and you can be alive.
this. So Matt Matt Wolf has an extreme superpower of looking at a situation and bringing this context of that just to disappear or at least bring some relief, so he's because he's looking at the outside in on the situation and it's magic. It comes to him naturally. And situational solutions with your homegrown and uh, your homegrown wizard here. I said something else earlier, Matt. It sounded I like that. Like there's a house band. This is your house wizard, Matt.
I'll be the house wizard.
So yeah, it's like shooting
I'm the
straight into
reminder,
something. Yeah,
reminding all the other wizards
right.
there's something else going on.
Something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna
Yeah, and you know
call?
what? Not to take pressure on that because it's like, let me do some wizardry right now. It's like, I don't even know what that means, but I felt like from the last video, I really wanted to just touch on the whole willingness thing because I said it's a yes, being a yes in the world. It has us be able to act, although it's not so much a yes, it's just willingness. Because if I have to also be willing to say no sometimes, right? Which isn't a yes, but it's like a willingness. So if somebody's like, hey, can you help me bury this body? And I'm a people pleaser, am I really? Yeah, sure. I want to be approved of. It's like, no. Am I willing to be in the space of choosing, especially if I have something I'm committed to? A good example might be kids. Like, hey, you want to go to Vegas and drink all weekend? I got the kids, like unless I can work something out, I have to be willing to actually be present to what is conducive for my commitments. And that could be rattling, or it can be actually easier because it's like I'm already up to something and this either falls in line with it or not. And a willingness isn't like a yes or no, it's just the space to choose freely. And
Yes.
again, I didn't want to come on this call. Nothing
No,
wrong with it. It's empowering, but I had a willingness thing like I don't want to. There's like all the what if something goes wrong or this or that, the other thing. And I wasn't being responsible. That was letting that take the show. So it's like, you know what, let's just jump in.
Matt and I talked 2 days ago about doing this show today, and the time it kept on creeping, and I'm like, and the day shows up, and I'm like, I'm not, I'm in a foul mood, and I know speaking with Matt before, he's talking about the moods he's in, and then once start talking, like it disappears or it alleviates, re, there's some relief. And one action leads to another action. So Matt calls me up, texts me. I'm like, yes, we had this scheduled today. And here we are. We're on the call. And, from speaking with him before we got on this call, there was relief on my end. So just for me to put this out there, we are both human, or at least having a human experience on this planet Earth. So
Wizard.
we wear many hats, we many cloaks, many wands. No, it's more than wizardry. So not to frighten off anyone listening, either we're either attracting or like repelling. So in the world of professionalism and what I'm working into, what Matt is working into when it comes to being of assistance for people, the contribution that we have, what comes naturally for us and what we can offer in contribution and value. So uh these thoughts are legitimate, of course they're legitimate. Let this not reflect our professional commitment when it comes to working with you and when we will do the exchange of value, monetary resources and such for what Matt and I are doing. So Matt, we
I hear it. So I'm more inspired
take
than like
take
there might be an issue coming on here. Like watch yourselves with us.
be like,
Because like you said, communication is key. You and I might have both been in our heads
mm,
with our internal dialogues about the situation and might have just avoided each other, like, oh, where were you Friday or whatever. But we actually got in communication. Now here we are. It's like we weren't on the call. I might have been in a different space about what it all means, or oh, I don't have to deal with that now, like a different space. But we can create from what's actually going on as opposed to pretending like something else is going on and not cater to something that might pull us out. And we don't have to also make this something like this is a big thing. We have to make sure it goes a certain way. Again, we're just engaging in a conversation. And the more real we are and authentic, more greatness shows up.
it's true, or in my experience it is, so the whole thing about putting on a mask or looking good or not wanting
So
to embarrass oneself or just all these the thoughts that are bombarding, and I'll speak for myself, I cannot speak for anyone else. uh it, it's been what, 4 months, Matt? It's been since like we had our call, the two calls, we released them and all that.
for the last
And
person who watched the video, it's only a minute away. They watch them consecutively.
oh, we
And there's
just
no
recorded
4 months or
yesterday.
week in
Yes,
between.
yes, this is
But
true.
yeah, 4 months. Sorry to cut you off. 4 months it was.
No, no sorries needed. No apologies. No, that we're good. And stay focused, stay out of your head, stay in action. We're going to get it. These are one of them, like slogans, the phrases that has materialized from whence, coaching now started. Is coaching fun, right? Coaching now. And there's something to be said for consistency. And there's definitely been a gap since our first lap. Yet, because reliability, dependency, it goes back to the no like trust factor. So, in that first episode, we were talking about how you have this marvelous like, instinct, magic about you when it comes to situations. And I'm like, Matt, you like this is going on and rah, rah, rah. And you're like, well, how about this? It's like, whoa. So
Perspective.
perspective. And so without having a direct example, well, we talked about that. And I see moving forward, I see it's almost like dear Ann Landers, you're not Ann Landers, but like an advice column, only like so far much beyond that. So we do a stream or people writing in or in the chat comment, who's Ann
Mhm.
Landers? So people say, hey, this is what's going on, and you're just like, hey, how about this? Check this out. And just being of service on a grand scale of the people who are tuning in, and then going into like a one-on-one, them working with you, you know, directly with private and in the the professional setting and such. So
That's up and coming, isn't it? Like we're
th
still
yeah,
unfolding that.
well, yeah, so because we're being we are being transparent. I'm looking into OBS. OBS is open software, so OBS itself is free. It's downloaded, it's on my computer, and it has to do with, broadcasting and streaming, which would allow you and I to be on this Zoom call and streaming to Facebook, YouTube,
Okay.
and others. It's got some other gadgets and stuff and whatnot. So
And until then, we do have the comments here, for example, you know.
yes, do that. You're really good at this. Ask,
I
ask,
mean, I'm just trying to engage. We're actually
please do.
having a solo conversation about other people. So, yeah, one thing, you know, we mentioned the Substack. Brian and I are talking about writing like an article about this, right?
Yeah,
So
no, yeah, you and I did mention the
you're the
Substack.
one who brought it up. So, and
I'm like, well, we haven't mentioned it on this call.
all right, well,
I did. So Substack,
before we
continue,
jump ahead on stuff in the
continue.
comments, if there's something you guys can just say whatever you gotta say. You can insult Brian all you want, all that kind of good stuff.
I, however, you do have to put money in the tip jar.
Yeah, you can do that. If there's something you wanted to hear the conversation go to, or your questions about like what might be next or something like that, I'm very interested in also what people might have to say about
Good.
what they might distinguish something about like vulnerability or willingness. Real quick, I know we only have so much time. There's one I'd like to distinguish. Three?
3 minutes.
Are you serious?
We can go longer. This is like,
No, no,
be
let's just
firm, be
wrap that
firm.
shit up. Damn, that went by.
I
Okay.
know. My mouth, air comes out of it, keeps on going. Continue.
All right. Well, we could also go longer
Blame
and
it on
edit
me.
it. We could just edit the motherfucker.
Just blame it on Brian.
Real quick, sensitivity. I shouldn't get into that, man.
Get
Let's
into
just
just get into it, and we'll.
sensitivity has another like vulnerability. It's like, oh, you're weak if you're sensitive.
Mm,
Sensitivity, the root of sensitivity is to sense, like sensate,
mm,
like your senses. Like you smell it, hear it, taste it. Maybe there's a sixth sense or more. Or can you perceive and sense things? So I was working with a master craftsman and he had like gloves like a gorilla, like his skin was so calloused, but he could touch grain. He'd sand wood and he could feel the exact grain of it. He could know which sandpaper to use. And he's like, so he had like really thick fingers that you wouldn't think he could feel anything, but he could feel things more than the average person. And it's like sensitivity isn't something that's weak. It's actually you receive more information. The only problem with sensitivity is if we make it affect us or I'm impacted by it. Like, again, like vulnerability is like they're an emotional thing or a victim thing in it. Or is it just like I'm perceiving something on a deeper level? Because if I'm sensitive, I can actually sense more. But then am I making it story about it? Or am I actually just with it? And that's again ties me. I'm forced to do this as a writer because when I write about, say, an asshole, and I get all like that guy, like, I don't want to hurt him. There's all these things that come up in creating that type of character. And Matt gets all in his head about it. But the narrator's like, there's nothing there. What drives this character to be like that? And then it starts to make sense why all the characters interact with themselves the way they do. I'm not hiding anything. I'm just like the sky able to be there for whatever might fly through it. And then I can be with all the thunderstorms and not be like, I'm holding on to this for the rest of my life. It's just fascinating. And then we're out of time.
no, no. So this is, man,
And then I'd like to know what you guys think about that because someone would be like, "You're sensitive." It's like, "Oh yeah, let me be like robust or what weird stuff." Just breathe into what you might be. Look at the quality of things. Realize that's accessible. You might have to generate it and not might not exist. You might have to actually start initiating it. But usually it's because we don't really understand what we're even dealing with. So we have a lot of power, but we're kind of programmed to think we don't. And then, you might get arrogant with your ego coming. See, I'm rambling now, but you might get all
We're
caught up in your own ego when you sense that power. But again, the same thing applies every time. Like, am I really in the space of now or freedom or creativity or whatever you're actually doing in your life? I'm going to stop talking. Thank you, everybody. Brian Patrick.
Thank you. This concludes session one of our second episode.
What's
Stay
next?
stay tuned for episode
What can
session
we be? What
session two.
might they, what's on the horizon? What's the future look like?
We're going to
Any kind of,
pick up on this sensitivity topic. Put your comments down below what you've heard throughout this, especially on the last rant from Matt. And it wasn't a rant, that was solid, 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 dude.
you're
Great
from your fellow
conversation,
house wizard.
fellow house wizard. So comment, subscribe. I mean, you're going to do this anyways. However, apparently, I need to direct you to do this. Subscribe, comment. Hello,
Be the first to comment. And we'll see you.
we've got stuff to do. Join the
Yes.
conversation, and we'll see you in
Make a
episode
day of it.
part two. Part two.
Thank you.